Okay, folks, let's call the regular meeting of the Park Board to order Monday, May 18th, 2026, 6 o'clock p.m. This time we'll have Dave Daniels lead us in Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dave. Jennifer was supposed to read it, but start us off, but she's not here yet. And online, Shannon's here as well. So I assume everyone's had the opportunity to look at the minutes. At this time, I make a motion to approve minutes from the April 20th, 2026 Park Board meeting as presented.
So moved.
Discussion? Comments, changes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. President Communications, I just want to thank the staff for doing such a great job with these events that we've had going on. It seems like we're really at our busy season right now. I know we had the Fishing Derby, we had the Junior Craft Show, which I think was a huge hit, and the farmers market's up and running now, so things are really happening, and I hear nothing but great things from people who attend, so thank you all. Personal appearances, we have none. We'll go on to the city councilman liaison, and Alex.
All right, good evening. I don't have a ton of things necessarily to share that would be of new news, but the things I do have to share are probably fairly notable. We did read a proclamation regarding the everyone that helped out in the tornado support and the after effects there. And I just want to again say thank you to everyone that took their personal time to do so, took their work time to do so, took their, just the cleanup that happened in a week was truly, truly incredible, and just makes you feel really proud to live here. It was also Public Service Recognition Week, so we did a proclamation for that. So thank you to, everybody in this room, but everyone that works for the city that is, working to make sure that we do this essential function. And then also one of the other things that happened in the last month is Public Works has received a recognition that marks them as some kind of accreditation, but it puts them in the top 1% in the country. So our Public Works apparently is just knocking it out. So they have an accreditation that is quite notable. So that just wanted to highlight those things. The only other thing I guess I'd mention is you've probably seen around town, we're getting close to, and I wish city manager was here to give me a better timeline, but I know we're very close on the Larkspur connection behind Five Guys. And then, of course, work is moving along quickly for the North Cass Parkway extension over to Mullen. So those are the two big projects I think we got going on. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions? Thank you, Alex. As you mentioned, City Manager Joe is not here this evening. I haven't heard from him. I assume he had another meeting. Moving on to Parks and Recreation Department reports and the Director's report. Kevin?
If you take a look at the report here, you can see that most of our memberships are up, and notable is our daily visits. It's up 4,000 from last year this month. So it is a busy place at High Blue. New members, 145 this month, or April.
Do you track where the daily visits are going? Is it mostly basketball? Is it?
We don't track that.
And I guess I wouldn't expect you to, but I was just curious if there's something specific going on that's creating.
I would say
good thing.
Basketball court has been really busy lately. Yes. So. And then I would like to thank all the park board members that helped out with the Fishing Derby. It was a beautiful day. The fish weren't cooperating, but I think the kids had a good time. So. And then staff's busy preparing for Carry Nation Days, Mud Run. So we are looking for volunteers if you guys would like to help. So just reach out to Kaylee and she'll get you set up.
Great. Any questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to aquatics is in the packet. Is there anything, Shannon, you need to highlight?
The only other thing that I wanted to say that wasn't in the packet was we have a total of 40 as of today that signed up for the High Blue Hurricanes, which is the Summer Swim League. So we're super excited about that. A lot of interest. Hoping to have 40 more sign up. We'll see.
And this is the first time to have that? Nice.
I also saw that there was almost like 100 in swim classes. Is that a high number, or is that about normal?
I think it's about normal for
Is
this
it?
time of year.
I guess the number just kind of jumped out at me. I thought, wow, that's a lot, so.
But privates have really skyrocketed. So.
Yeah. Any questions on aquatics? Okay, moving on to High Blue. It's in the packet. Any questions or comments or anything that you need to highlight?
When is the mud run? The 13th of June. Okay.
Any other questions? Moving on to marketing, it's in the packet. Anything that you need to highlight, Vanda, or any questions on marketing? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question about what's the college summer pass? That was
That's just a rate that we're giving kids who are not on their parents' pass. And it's, this year we've adjusted a little bit, so it's actually essentially a youth pass for those kids that are enrolled in fall classes.
all right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it was after the last meeting, but when we had the grand opening of the new playground, if anyone hasn't been out to the new playground there at Wallace, you really ought to go look at that. That is just amazing. I know Vanda worked real hard on getting the grant for that, but it's phenomenal. It turned out really good. Any other questions or anything on marketing?
I wanted to ask real quick about the Friends of the Park, the new logo that's in place. When is that rolling out, and or is that already out, and what can we do to help promote that?
So it just started, and you should be seeing a lot more of it in terms of signs at all of our local parks. It's gone out on Facebook. We've potentially some direct mail at a very targeted audience, but we'll be rolling that out over the coming months.
And what's the goal for the Friends of the Parks?
So we have, I think, 3 different links. One link is just like a general fund, just if you want to give to improve the parks or to help maintain the parks. Another one is a kind of like a scholarship or sponsorship program to help pay for youth sports. We've seen, a need. There was some comments about people not being able to afford to pay for all of their kids to play in some of our rec sports, and we want to find a way to make sure that all of those kids get the opportunity to play rec sports. So there is the opportunity to donate to help pay for youth to play in our rec programs. And then Dryden Nature Reserve is the third one. So if you would like to donate to, with all of the improvements and development that we're going to be doing out there, we're looking for donations for that.
And you can earmark whatever
Yes.
money you donate, you can earmark to any
Yeah, and it
project
can only be
that you
spent
have going
on whatever you want that donation to be spent on.
Is this the same thing we did with the log cabin? Is this the same nonprofit or whatever we?
Yes.
Okay, is the same guy leading it? That was leading it before? That was in charge of it before?
No,
No.
Okay. You got somebody else?
we have a different board
Okay.
that runs that.
Oh, okay.
And I believe they are looking for new board members as well. Some highly motivated people that want to get out in the community and raise money for the parks.
Okay.
If you know of anybody.
Thank you.
I do. Could I ask you again, just to follow up on that? The donations that are going to help student or individuals participate in the sports, are those being given out to individuals as like a grant or an award, or how are you doling those out to help students?
It's like a scholarship program. So the money will come in, and then say we have, 10 kids that needed the assistance, that money would go to pay for those 10 kids to play sports.
Great, thank you.
How's the city acquiring the money from them? Are people reaching out to the city directly, or are they actually reaching out to the Friends?
There's a Venmo and PayPal that goes directly into that account.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is separate from us.
Yeah.
We do not control the money or anything like that.
Yep. And then does the city have the opportunity to apply to request grants
Yes.
from those accounts?
Yes,
and
we
then
would
follow
reach out,
through a
yes. Yeah.
Formal process, I
Yep.
imagine that.
And then they would just write a check to the parks. But it,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
it does have to be approved by the board to dispense those funds. The Friends of the Park Board.
So just,
Or-
so to go back to students or to individuals wanting to participate in the sports, does the timeline, for us to be able to approve those?
What was the question?
For those individuals that are, needing the scholarship in order to participate in the sports, does our timeline, if you need approval from the board to request that from the city, does all that work together? Or is that going to be something that maybe just goes
So
around in an email or?
We offer a scholarship program. So what that money would do was offset our costs. So we would give them the scholarship, and we would sign them up for the sport, and then we would basically be reimbursed by Friends of the Park for those fees.
So to answer your question, they're not waiting on the money. We're waiting on the money from our Friends of the Parks to follow up with. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Vander. We'll move on. Parks and Facilities is in the packet. I did take a quick glance at the restrooms at Cleveland Lake, and it's amazing. It's just truly amazing they can put that in two different pieces and bring it together like that. And they have a light on top. It's not a light. It is like a prism that catches light, and it shines down. It looks like the lights are on inside, but it's not. It's just amazing. So once it's open to the public, I invite everyone to go check out the restrooms. Pretty nice.
Yeah, so one of the comments I've heard, is about, vandalism and stuff like that, but that bathroom is 100% concrete. So, they're really going to have to be working at it to vandalize it.
When's the intent to have that open?
Well, right now we're waiting on Evergy to get electricity service out there, and I believe we're waiting on the water service as well.
Do you have the cement around it already?
That will be coming up here in a bit.
That's in your packet.
Oh, got it, all right. And then the parking, obviously, the summer's coming up, it's just going to get busy, as you guys.
We will discuss that at the end of the meeting as well.
Okay.
Any other questions on Parks and Facilities or anything you need to add, Nick? No? Okay, moving on, Recreation. Joaquin's here to answer any questions you may have. Anything you need to highlight, Joaquin?
I just wanted to clarify the scholarship program. So the youth sports scholarship, if your child receives free lunch from a Belton school district, it's 50% off. If it's reduced lunch, it's 25% off. They just contact Jared or I directly with proof of that from the school district, and we go ahead and sign them up there on the spot. And then the money through Friends of the Park would help offset the cost of that, like Kevin said.
Great, thank you for that clarification.
How's the signups for summer camp going?
We have 107 that have paid the registration fee, but they're able to register throughout the whole summer. So we usually, the last couple of years, we've had a little over 200. Right now, we're at 107.
Thank you.
I just want to say, great job you guys did on the fishing that turned out real well.
I am curious, are we having a golf tournament during Carrie Nation Days? Or, I'm sorry, not a golf, a disc golf?
It's still in correlation with Carrie Nation Days. We just moved the date of the
Is that the
disc golf.
Granny Hatchet?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's still a part of that event. It's just moved to a later date.
Got you. Any other questions? Thank you, Joaquin. Standing committee reports. We'll move on to finance. The April financials is in your packet. And the one thing that really jumps out, the fact that our sales tax was down 15%.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it can just depends on sometimes when the money comes in. So somebody could have turned it in late. And so we'll just have to see next month.
And that's actually from probably February sales, isn't it? Like almost 2 months?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions on finance? Hearing none. Moving on. Recreation. Shannon, do you want to, you guys met, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
You want to talk a little bit
and-
about your meeting?
Yeah, sure. So really, it was just an opportunity for us to get to know everyone as the players, and since we have two new park board members who are also new to the committee, it was just our first recreation committee meeting. We covered quite a bit of ground, just kind of reinforcing like what our role as that committee is in terms of making sure that decisions are being made through database decision making and having a better understanding of what all the recreation initiatives are. Overall, like I think everything's growing, and we as a park board can be really proud. The biggest thing that came out of that probably is that we'll start having a direct link between some of those recreation personnel and the park board to let us know when there are volunteer opportunities, so we can be sure that we're supporting them through all the events. And there, I'm open to any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Shannon. Building and grounds did not meet. Personnel, Dave?
We didn't meet.
We'll move on to new business. A motion approving resolution number 2026-021, resolution appointing Mark Ostendorf, Tyler Farrow, Leslie Dick, Gary Horner, Martha Frasher to the Belton Urban Forestry Council.
Present.
Second.
We have a present and second. Discussion?
I have a couple of questions.
Uh-huh.
First of all, curious how these terms were overlooked for that amount of time. I know in the past, typically the city clerk's office notifies the mayor of the expiration of terms, and then they go before the council.
Right. This would be an oversight on my behalf. So this is something that I overlooked on the terms, the length of the
Okay.
terms. So I take full responsibility for that.
That's fine. I just thought it was a little strange, but then why the variation in the expiration of terms? Why don't they all expire at the same time?
So that we don't have to replace them all at the same time.
Do what?
So we don't have to replace all the
Well,
members at the same
typically,
time.
the term, so they don't all expire May 18th. One would be maybe in 27, 2 or 3 in 28, some in 29. Typically, the month and date are the same, but the year fluctuates.
Right. So we recently appointed the proper way, Brittany, Una, and Lona. So we just want to, this is just a correction for those other ones that were not reappointed on time. So we didn't want to go ahead and change any of the 3 that were appointed
So
properly.
just a suggestion, maybe then when those terms come up, that you put them in with a May 18th date, but a year.
Yes, that's what we plan on doing, yeah,
all right.
to correct it. We're just correcting the 5
Okay,
that were not reappointed properly.
okay. Just a question. Thanks.
Any other questions, Patty, on that? No?
Yeah, could you just clarify what the Urban Forestry Council does, or what they oversee exactly?
So it was the tree board, formerly the tree board. Their main purpose is just to oversee Belton's urban forestry, the urban forest canopy in Belton, and to give guidance on the care and maintenance of that canopy.
Okay.
That's their, so they don't necessarily, they can give recommendations to the board, but they don't make any decisions for, any tax dollars or anything like that, so.
And not to jump in, but one of the other primary things that they fulfill, and actually, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Kevin, but I believe we would not have the level of arboretum we have without a board to cover that. Is that correct?
Well, to be a Tree City USA, you have to have a tree board, so that's one of the stipulations of that, so.
Any other questions?
Is part of that board's role to, you said make recommendations, is there kind of like a regular cycle, like they'll make annual recommendations to the park board for expansion or anything, or is just as recommendations come up, they'll bring it to the board?
It would be as recommendations come up, and it's something that, we really haven't done in the past, but it's something that I've been pushing for recently, is to bring recommendations to the board, and also to
Great.
give maybe a yearly report for the Urban Forestry Council to the board. So I will say this is a board that's hard to fill. It's never been this full, and this is something that I've been working on to really get people that are passionate about it, that will bring, some value to that board or council.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you pushing for an annual report or something. I think that would help us as a board understand what they're doing or what their role is, and how that, are there things that we can corroborate or collaborate on as well, so.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Shannon, did you say aye? I didn't hear you.
Aye, yes, aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-022, a resolution authorizing and approving a task agreement number 2026-03 with Clark Anderson for the planning and design, construction, documentation, and construction administration for Phase 1 of the Dryden Nature Reserve in the amount of $398,000.
Present.
Second.
Present and second. Discussion.
Can you tell me what this, I think I know what these architect fees, what is including in the Dryden Reserve, what we're looking at as far as the trails and things like that?
So the services they will be providing is the design, I think it was about 3,500 feet of 10-foot concrete trail, plus 2 pedestrian bridges, along with infrastructure, water, sewer, stormwater, everything to get to the site. And then also in this is the vehicle hardscape as well. So the main drive entering the park and the big parking lot that will go kind of up on the top of the hill. So that's all included in this design. This also includes all the construction documentation, as well as construction management or administration. So it's kind of a turnkey, we don't have to mess with making sure the contractors are doing what they need to be doing. They'll handle all of that.
And
As
this
well
is
as-
everything for Phase 1?
Yes. It's in
What
phase
are
one.
arboretum,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Shannon.
what are arboretum amenities?
Probably signage, wayfinding signage, also benches, maybe some sort of lighting, and educational signs as well.
Patty?
Just to verify, reimbursables are included in the 398, or are they separate?
It is included.
Okay.
What would be reimbursables? I understand the term.
So
What-
postage, travel expenses, stuff like that.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, how did you guys, I guess, decide to go with this company?
So it was an extensive interview with, I think we limited it to, what, 5 different on-call? So we have 5 different on-call architectures. So then we interviewed, narrowed it down to 2, and then we selected Clark and Anderson for this project. So we felt they were the best fit for this project and what they would bring, the value that they'd bring to this project.
And Mark, these were actually, before you got on, they were all brought to us to look at, and
Any other questions?
When do they anticipate starting work?
Oh, I think probably by the end of this month, we will start the design process. Once we get approval and we'll start moving as quick as we can, because, we have a timeline. We need to get this designed and get stuff bid out so we can start budgeting for next year.
Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-023, a resolution authorizing the approving task agreement number 2026-04 with SFS Architecture for a Fieldhouse feasibility study for the amount not to exceed $59,877.
Present.
Second.
Present and second. Discussion.
So as we discussed at the last meeting, we know the demand for indoor recreation space continues to grow. And then, driven by our youth sports and participation and our limited facilities that we have, it just limits our opportunities for what we can offer the citizens. So we believe the feasibility study is an important first step to determine, if this is a viable and beneficial investment in this community. So,
What is your ideal of what you're looking for in this, as far as the field house itself?
the amenities or,
Square footage?
well, that's something that we'll work through that in the feasibility process. We know kind of our needs, what we need, but they may tell us, to make this, make the cost recoveries, we may need to add another court, to rent out to offset those costs. So that's something that we're going to look at. I plan to have, a pretty diverse activities there, and I've talked to the city about possibly adding the senior center onto that building as well. We know there's a need for maybe adding a kitchen, a full kitchen, and, there was, in the survey, cooking classes and stuff like that were really high. So that's something we may be able to offer again, as well as party room rentals, a turfed area, batting cages, golf simulators, anything that we can put in there to offset expenses.
I just think to make sure it needs to be a good size. I mean, because if you get a volleyball tournament, you may be talking 10, 15 courts going at one time, if it's big enough.
Right.
So,
But then also you have to, think about parking for that. We do.
well, that's a lot of stuff to deal with, with this situation.
And that's something that we'll work through in the feasibility study, what that looks like, how many courts we need, how often we need to rent them out to be profitable, stuff like that.
The last couple of volleyball tournaments, I went to a Blue Hawk
Yeah.
over there, only used 6 to 8 courts.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
And again, the need is internally, so we don't want to push our community out. We want to be able to still offer those rec programs, on the weekends when we have games and stuff like that. So we don't want to push them out for the tournament games.
I get it, but it still has to pay for itself at some point.
Right, yeah, absolutely,
You're looking at Wallace Park for this?
No.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Kind of where the top soccer field is and the old tennis courts, that area up there.
Okay.
I'll just also comment from the Recreation Committee. This is something that we talked about, and I think I'll feel like it's an important move forward for the Parks Board as well.
So the,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
thank you. So the feasibility study will cover essentially proposed design layout of the building, what facilities, amenities plan to offer and location, and then possibly how to reimburse over time the cost of the facility.
Yeah, it'll do like market analysis of, say, they'll reach out to local groups and stakeholders, like how many volleyball teams need practice space in our area, stuff like that. How many baseball teams need indoor practice space, stuff like that.
Okay.
As well as the programming, what programs we need to run to make it profitable.
And how long will it take to do the feasibility study? How long's?
I believe they said if we started right after this was approved, it would be November 3rd is when it would be wrapped up.
Yep.
Which would be just in time to start budgeting.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-024, a resolution authorizing and approving task agreement number 2026-05 with TLH and Sons for concrete work at the Cleveland Lake restroom in the amount of $38,750.
Second.
Present and second. Discussions? Kevin, is this one that was, is TLH, that's the on-call,
Yes,
right?
that is our on-call.
Can you explain what you mean by that on-call?
So we put out like an RFP to ask for on-call for services, and we specify what those services are, and then we get bids for that. Mainly, it's off of price, rates per hour, and stuff like that. But so then we determine. I would like to have more than one, but we did only get one bid back on this. But I'd like to have more than one on-call, because sometimes they get busy and can't fit you in the schedule as quickly as we'd like, so.
Are there open bid opportunities annually for this, or?
Not annually, we did extend this one twice, but it will be brought up probably at the end of this year to be rebid.
Okay.
And the idea behind the on-call is the fact that we don't have to put everything out to bid every time we have a project. We already got some people that are on-call that we can reach out to. We know their square foot price, we know labor rates and so forth, so that's why we do it.
But this one is actually a prevailing wage job, since the
Yeah.
project's over 75,000.
Yep. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion carries. Motion approving Resolution 2026-025, a resolution approving a contract for service for roof repairs at the High Blue between the Belton Parks and Recreation Department and Delta Innovative Services, Inc.
Present.
Second.
Present and a second. Discussion-wise, I just want to let everyone know this is not a budgeted item. This is one that will need repair, so therefore, what's the cost of this, Kevin, do you know?
60,000.
I believe it was 60,544.
So this will require us to go to the city for approval on this, correct?
So there is a 30-day delay. I've reached out to the city attorney to see if it needs to go, or if they just have 30 days to pull it, to appeal it. So I have not heard back on that, because my assumption is they have 30 days to appeal it, and if they do not, we can proceed. So we would have to delay this contract for 30 days.
And I believe you're correct. Now you say that, I do remember that conversation to where they have 30 days to pull it.
Right. I think three members of the council have to give written notice.
That sounds.
You want to comment?
That sounds accurate to me. I will help get you an answer on your request, though.
Okay.
And just so
I mean, if
everybody
it's an
knows,
active roof leak, I think it should be a maintenance item that we should be able to fix tomorrow.
It becomes an emergency when it rains.
Yeah.
It certainly does.
So it's an emergency today.
so we replaced a lot of the roof, how long ago?
2020, I believe.
Okay,
So-
and then, so there's certain areas, if you go up there, like right by the front desk, that when it rains, there's buckets.
There's pictures in at the end of your packet.
Yeah, so we're trying to, the whole point of this is to get that fixed and not have buckets all over the place and leaking water. So,
I would hope that.
So is there,
Go ahead.
Shannon?
is there a process for the city then to say, yes, go ahead, you don't have to wait the 30 days?
I think that's what Alex is going to try to help push through a little bit.
Yeah, so this is all relatively new, this particular process. So honestly, this might be even the first time we're dealing with this.
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So I was like, I don't remember it happening before. So yeah, this will be testing our system and seeing if anything needs to be reworked there. So, yeah, but I will, when you recently contacted Patrick?
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to get a follow-up for you there.
And in my opinion, and I echo what Dave Clark said, was this kind of is an emergency operation here that maybe we don't need the city to approve, but it's good to go ahead and run it through if it's not going to take more than 30
and
days to
We'll
do
see how it
so.
works.
Yeah, because
Process.
in fairness, I believe there was specifically already carved out an emergency piece to that.
There was.
Yeah, so let's, I don't disagree with that point at all. In fact, I agree with that point, to be clear, but since you've reached out, let's just try and, let's get it, let's just find out where this lands.
I'll go with Alex is saying. I mean, we've had this procedure in place for years. It's just no one's ever enacted it, but it would take 3 council members to say we will disagree with this. So we've had it. I mean, and again, if a council member wants to come after someone because we're fixing a roof after a leaking, let them do that and let them be chastised by the public. I mean, we ought to be able to fix this tomorrow without any interruption by city council. I mean, I will fight every council member that wants to fight this. I mean, this isn't, hey, we're going out and buying some big fancy equipment. I mean, this is maintenance.
Can we agree on like a timeline for Kevin to wait to hear back before going ahead and moving forward with this? Because it seems like at some point, when you're having, leaking and water damage, that can create a much more expensive problem if we don't address it right away. So
Right.
can we kind of establish and say, he will wait to hear from, give you a chance, Alex, tomorrow, and so if he doesn't hear by Wednesday, he can go ahead? Like, what, can we kind of narrow this window of
My
when we
answer to
can get
that
this
is,
going?
as soon as it starts raining again, we're going to go and get it fixed. Because then it's emergency. That's what we're going to do, if we haven't heard back by then. I think we will, but we'll get our answer. But like I said, it starts raining, we're going to get it fixed. So,
That's tonight, right?
probably.
And out of curiosity, does this bid proposal here cover interior repairs as well to drywall, ceiling, drop ceiling, anything of that nature?
It is not.
Okay.
No.
Strictly the,
All exterior. There's a lot of EFS that has to be ripped off the building and flashing repaired behind there. So, and this is it. We really don't know exactly where it's coming in, so there's a lot of exploratory on this. So, but they are replacing all of the TPO roofing system on those 2 lower roofs
Okay.
as well.
And I'm assuming they offer some type of warranty for work performed?
Yes.
Does that mean you have some kind of a secondary bid for the repairs on the inside?
That
Drywall,
is
et
something that we'll do internally with our staff.
Okay.
It's mostly just the acoustic tiles, right, that need to be replaced?
Yeah, and there's a little bit of sheetrock damage.
Okay.
any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, items for review and discussion. Cleveland Lake parking lot update presented by Kevin Feeback.
Okay. So there was some discussion on putting this out to bid and having it before the next, the June meeting. I have kind of had some discussions with some people on pricing of oil at this time. So it may be something that would behoove us to wait a little while to see what happens. But again, this is a project that I want to finish and get finished, so I don't want to delay it any longer than need be. So I think I might go ahead and put it out to bid and see what the numbers come back, and if they're way high and we feel like we don't want to do it, we don't have to proceed.
Well, I think we're gonna need the parking at some point, especially with the bathroom out there and how popular that you get Dryden done and things like that. So maybe put it out to bid. I assume it's gonna be pretty high with the way oil prices are right now. So that's just something that, like a feasibility, so to speak.
Right. I mean, like I said, I don't want to drag this out any longer than it needs. I mean, this is something we need to get finished up and get
Where are
that
you
opened
gonna
up.
put the parking?
That's our
It-
budget.
What's that?
What was the budget item for that?
I think we budgeted $350 for that.
Where at Cleveland are you gonna put the parking?
Just, so
Expanded.
the existing parking, and then it would go south from there.
South?
Kind of that flat area just to the south of the existing parking.
Okay.
So I don't know why you would wait, just go ahead and start putting out bids. I mean, we can always just say, no, we're not going to,
Right.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't,
But there's just a lot of time involved in, going out for bid on stuff like this.
I would proceed.
Okay.
Does the city have any parking lots they're redoing? I know the golf course is redoing some trails.
Well, this is more of a new build, so there's a lot more to it than just, what they can do.
I think, Dave, you might have been alluding to the fact they're already in the area that maybe we'd tag along to another project, kind of what we used to do with Superior Bowen on
Yeah.
asphalt. So.
Well, I can check and see. I don't know if Superior does, full depth, new parking lots or anything like that. I know they do a lot of roads and stuff like that, but
I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna use the same asphalt company. They're gonna build the parking lot bigger and surface it for us, right?
right.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying if there's other projects going on, sometimes if you tag along, it might not be, they're already here. But I think the city did a lot of their parking lots a couple of years ago.
Yeah, just to chime in real quick on that, as Kevin's well aware of, we did a lot of that last year, and we did use, I believe, Superior Bowman for most of it, if not all of it. And I know there was some tagging along. That's how Wallace Park got that nice new trail and whatnot. So I know that is certainly a proven good idea. I just, off the top of my head, I'm not sure that we have anything of that sort going on at this moment, but I could also be forgetting.
They just did the mill and overlay of Bill Jones Drive. Another company did the trail. I think it was Rose Pavement did the trail.
Okay.
But that's something I can check. I'm not sure if Superior Bowen does, full depth parking lots and stuff like that. But I can check.
Yeah, I'd start moving forward, try to get bids,
Okay.
see what we can do. Any other questions or comments on that, Kevin? Move on. The Marquee Play Area update.
So for those of you that have been out to Markey Park, right outside the concession area, there's kind of a rain garden area. And we've kind of had a vision to get rid of that rain garden area. It's a mosquito pit, and we want to put play structures in there to give something for the kids to do instead of, climbing our trees and throwing rocks around. So I think in the packet, there's kind of a picture of what that might look like. It's not so much a playground or just an area, a turfed area for kids to play and burn off some steam.
Speaking
And
of Markey Park, go ahead if you're gonna.
It's a baseball themed, play structures.
You have pictures of that? Oh, there it is. I see it now.
First, I think that's a great idea. I've got 3 kids that participate in flag football, softball, softball most recently, of course. And we're always thinking about something to do with the other 2 while they're waiting and watching. So then it's a great idea versus climbing on trees, climbing the fence, or throwing dirt around. So
Or playing in the mud.
yeah.
So Kevin, I'm sorry, but I don't think I understand this. What am I looking at here?
It's just a top view of, I think there's like a baseball glove slide. And this will all be synthetic turf with fall zones in
And
it.
so is this over where, like, the shed was at?
No.
No?
This is between the concession stand and the shelter.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with it. Okay.
Kind of by where the flagpole is, on both sides of the flagpole.
So what's
Gotcha.
the update on it? You're just giving us what it might look like? I mean,
This will probably be coming before you next meeting,
okay.
the proposal for this.
And then later,
Can I-
I'm sorry. And then later, will there be shade added to it? Is that in the plans? No?
I mean, there's 2 big trees there, but I mean, that's something that we can look at is adding shade to that. I mean, also to get something over the play area for foul balls and stuff like that.
That's the only thing I was
well.
thinking, that if you're, I've seen too many ballparks where they have the play area right next to the field, and then, kids are getting beamed by the foul balls, so.
Right.
Do you have something?
Are you anticipating next meeting recommending that we approve the design from Next Gen, or essentially pursuing bids from other playground companies as well?
This would be through a cooperative purchasing, so it would be next gen.
Okay. Is that, we just are limited, we're limited to working with them as a city?
No, not necessarily, but they do have a cooperative pricing, so we just, we just chose to go with them.
Maybe explain that, Kevin, what you're talking.
So there's different cooperative, there's Sourcewell, Omni, Greenbush, there's a lot of cooperatives out there where everything's already pre-bid. So they do a lot of work up front to get the prices set, so we know that, we're getting a good price, which keeps us from having to spend all the time to put stuff out for bid. If that makes sense.
Because I think you guys would get a lot of proposals without having to put it out to bid from other playground companies.
Right.
I was just wondering if we've worked with them before. I mean, because a lot of these, pieces are popular, and I know other companies make similar ones. We just have, when we've put playgrounds out for bid, we get a lot of different ideas that come back to us. And it also, adds, I guess, some more ideas on what is possible, including like inclusion items. So just wondering if that's possible to get more than just from Next Gen.
It is possible. I mean, if you guys want me to put it out to bid, I can.
Would you have to put it out to bid, or just reach out to all of the people all of the,
Cooperative.
Well,
or all of the sales people that,
so pretty much we will determine, what it looks, the design and what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it would all be the same. I would think that the pricing would be the same across the board, because they're purchasing that equipment as well as the other companies. I mean,
yeah,
they're not making the
Create
equipment.
Play. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the maker, I believe.
Can I say-
I can reach out, I see what you're saying. I can
They're
reach
just
out to
makers
other
than
companies.
Create
Yeah.
Play. Because I know that Create Play is a little bit more, is, from my experience, a little pricier than some of the other ones. So there's just a lot to consider there.
I think you got to look at quality too. I mean,
Yeah.
we definitely want a high quality product and don't want to just pay less because, for a lower quality product.
Kevin, remind me, was this budgeted this year?
Yes, this is a budgeted item.
And then when they do come back, after you do the research or get a bid on this, when you bring it back to us, will it be itemized by piece, or just be an overall price that you'll be looking at?
I can have it itemized,
That
everything.
might help look at what you're wanting to. Okay.
Can I ask one other thing too? I like this idea. I understand that it's already kind of budgeted as well, and I get how having like the rain garden might be a mosquito trap. But I also just wanted to encourage us as being, not just recreation, but the Parks Board, that we're also considering, keeping naturescape and natural spaces versus turf spaces. And while it is annoying when kids are all dirty and rolling around in the mud, there's a lot of exploration and learning that happens that way that doesn't necessarily when they're going down a slide or playing on themed equipment. So I just want us to be mindful that we're weighing things and providing, services and resources and fun playing areas, but that sometimes the climbing on the trees and the fences are the places that kids are really learning and exploring not only, physical activity, but also just imagination and having to opportunities to think of things to do and how to entertain themselves. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there as that I think that's an area we need to be mindful of with our parks as well.
I agree, we need to be mindful of that, but, I think we need something like this out there because they're tearing up the trees, and that's the problem. The trees aren't mature enough to handle kids climbing on them, especially 4 and 5 at a time, and I've seen them break off branches all the time. But I agree with what you're saying, it's just, I certainly want to keep them out of the trees.
I agree with the nature play and that stuff and exploring, but that current site, it's not the right place for that, so.
Yeah, I think safety first is what we need to, needs to be our first priority. So it sounds like the trees and all that are not a safe environment. I just wanted to throw that out there that as we're thinking about creating these non-natural scapes, that we're also trying to kind of balance that with other nature scapes at the same time.
So it looks like you're basically just, the way the schematic, just that tearing out whatever was there. So you don't have to do any concrete work, because it looks like there's concrete already around. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
There'll be some drainage work and stuff like that underneath the synthetic turf.
I remember years ago being softball out there, rocks and stuff that just, it didn't look good. This would probably be a good upgrade.
Any other discussion on the Markey play?
I'd like to ask a question about Markey Park, but not about
Go ahead.
being across the street a lot, especially on weekends. I don't see any cars over there anymore. So I guess my question is, I know the Top Gun and all these people want turf fields. When are we, or have we discussed going to turf in the infield so we can get some of those tournaments back?
We have had those discussions. I mean, it's very,
What it
very
costs to do
expensive.
that.
Very expensive. So, that's something that we have in the master plan was kind of a rendering of what that park could look like, but we just need to come up with some funding.
I just been over the old and new 3 and 2 in Kansas. I mean, they turfed all their infields now too. So, but they've been taken over by Perfect Game. So just when you used to see cars over there and screaming all the time, and now you hardly ever see anything. So on weekends, I don't see a lot of tournaments like we used to have. So
We have quite a few this year. I think you're just hitting at the wrong time possibly, but the issue with the turf, which we like I said, we've had a lot of discussion on that, is because of the cost, we'd have to do like one every other year type of deal to try to, because it's just so much money.
What is the
to do
cost
it.
per field?
Oh, it was,
Well, a few years ago, it was about $1 million just to turf it.
all of them?
No, one.
one.
And that's not, including new
Are you
fencing.
talking about the whole field or the infield?
The whole field.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just talking about the infield.
But that's not fencing, new lighting. I mean, we need to upgrade the lighting out there.
It's a lot of money. I mean, and also at the time we were talking about that, Perfect Game was working on building their own stadium at the time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of facilities pop up around us recently, so that's kind of pulled some of our teams away from here.
I mean, I don't know what kind of money we make off that anyhow. Might not even be feasible.
We did not make that much money.
We didn't, but it was
was-
an economic impact
Yeah.
to the city. That
Yeah.
was the biggest thing. People were eating our restaurants and shopping our stores and.
Staying in our hotels, I know
Sure,
that too.
sure. So, I mean, that was the biggest deal. Sometimes there's years we broke even, if we were lucky, and then but the impact on the city was huge.
Is that something else that, would make sense for us to do a feasibility study on at some point? Like, make some decisions rather than us just kind of speculating?
It probably would, this is my opinion only, it probably would be, but if we can't afford it anyway, there's no reason to, I don't see any reason to do a feasibility study if we can't afford it at this time.
Well, I guess that's the question that I have as far as the feasibility study. You're talking about it having a financial impact for the city. Like, at what point is it enough of an impact for the city for us to rethink what our overall budget is in order to support the city with this? I don't know. Maybe I'm just this. This is the third time in my very short time with the board that we've talked about this. And so I'm just wondering if maybe we should actually start asking some professionals questions about what's feasible and what's not.
Well, I think the thing is, Shannon, is, well, it's a great impact to the city, which is important. We don't get reimbursed anything on that, so doing the turf fields is really on us. And sometimes you just have to prioritize what's best, and is the price gonna just be too much on these for now? I mean, maybe in a couple of years or something, I don't know. But yes,
Alex, do
she
you
is
think this
right.
is
We have
something that
talked
the
about
city-
this turfing quite a bit. 2 or 3 times a year.
Alex, do you think this is something that the city would be interested in even considering supporting or sponsoring or helping with, knowing that it had a good return on investment for city businesses?
I am one of 9. You know, I think that a good business case could be made for a lot of the things in which would potentially be available through our parks, like the field house and, you know, various, like not in the too distant past, we did a study on a sports complex, right? And sports tourism, or whatever the proper term was there. So I don't think there's any, I can't think of the right word. I don't think there's anyone that's opposed to understanding a business case or something like that. But I don't
Market
know
forces.
where we're at.
Market forces have changed over time, just softball, baseball. Then they migrated over to other municipalities which could afford the higher infrastructures. And so, you know, we got to balance what we can do, competing. We can't always be competing cutting edge with everything, but, you know, field study or field house probably might be more along the lines than trying to revamp that whole baseball, softball area.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that there's so much more that goes into that. I mean, but there's that, I know we talk city, when we say city, we're talking about maybe council, but that economic impact isn't just, you know, that also helps parks, right? So that's not again, I don't think anyone's opposed to hearing potential business case. I just don't know. I don't know if that's the right direction to go or not, but.
I think something to consider would be, like, the field house would potentially benefit Belton citizens more than the ball fields, because the ball fields will be, you know, benefiting teams to come in and benefiting, just, you know, tax base and everything. But the field house could actually benefit the people who live here. So you have two opposing ideas there.
Tough, right? Yeah.
And I think the only, I would just caution us to not just say, no, we can't afford it, so let's not look into it any further. If it just keeps coming up, when there's a pattern, then maybe it's something to at least look into. I know there's an expense for a feasibility study as well. But if there are some other avenues to generate the income that was necessary in order to support it, and I also agree, I think the field house probably has more bang for our buck right now. But as we keep kind of moving forward, just thinking about what are possibilities for other funding avenues to support these things, and the benefits that they do bring.
On just to piggyback off of Mr. Clark's point here, whenever you see anything that was decreasing in popularity for any reason, right, it's never a good thing to see. No matter whether it's anecdotal, whether there's data behind it or whatever, it's not a good position to be in, and it's something you want to always try to consider to find. So But hopefully, as Mr. Ward pointed out, our timing is maybe on the tournaments just different as opposed to what we're experiencing.
Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, High Blue upstairs flooring update, Kevin?
All right. So next meeting, I will be bringing a proposal for the new flooring upstairs at High Blue. I don't know if any of you have been up there, but we are in need of some repairs. Half of the floor will be like a rubber flooring, kind of like that's in the TRX room. And then the other half will be like carpet squares, but it's made out of recycled water bottles. So it's waterproof, stain resistant and all that. So we'll be bringing that to you next board meeting. Do you have any questions?
So this is the flooring where the equipment
Yes.
and weights are?
Yes.
Okay,
So
not
we will be,
track.
moving half of the equipment over, so there'll be some interruptions in service upstairs for hopefully limited. And we don't have an idea yet when that will be scheduled, but I'll have a better idea once we get the proposal.
Is there a benefit to mix and match in the floor types, or just to break up the monotony of the same floor?
So I think it's a difference in the equipment. You have your ellipticals, your treadmills over here, not a lot of wear and tear. And then on the other side, there's, some barbells and free weights that could fall on the floor and damage the floor.
Okay.
But also it has to do with the floor that's there. That half that we're putting the rubber flooring on used to be the aerobics room a long time ago. So there is a wood subfloor there that they could not adhere the other floor type to. So that's why we're going with the rubber on that half.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd have to rip all that out, and then there would be a transition, maybe like 2 inches that we'd have to fill in. Or they would raise the level of the floor with concrete, and we wouldn't want to do that. So this just simplifies it.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Makes sense.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Kevin. Any announcements? The only announcement I would have is that if anyone can volunteer to reach out to Kaylee for Carrie Nation Days. You have something?
I was going to say, this may be my last board meeting. I'm not sure the mayor's making decisions, but if it is, I like to say, had a great 6 years on the board. We had our ups and downs. COVID, was a challenge. Kevin, you got a whole crew. You guys have done amazing stuff. Cleveland Lake's looking great. Keep up the good work there. So even if I'm not on the board, I'll still be around to help.
We'll find you.
Yep.
Any other announcements?
I just want to real quick go back to the roof and the mention of the city council, and they have a right to deny, if you will. And I'm assuming we're talking about the section 1744, which is review of park board decisions. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
So it doesn't say we can't proceed. It just, they have a right with 3 council members to review any action or decision of the park board except a personnel matter. And the certification shall state with particularity the action or decision to be reviewed and shall establish a hearing date not less than 30 days from the delivery of the certification to the board. And the council shall hear testimony and rule on the appeal. And it requires a 2/3 of affirmative vote from the city council. So if
And you're reading
that's-
you're reading that from the charter, correct?
This is the code of ordinance, and
Code of
the charter should mirror it.
So what happens if they do get the 3 votes and the vote is no
And we've already started?
on the city council and
So-
we started it?
Can we play that what if game if it happens? So I am so very
Yeah,
confident
it's
that this is not a concern on terms of, I understand it's outside of the budget, but it's a roof repair. So I guess I understand that, again, we've had recent conversations on this topic and whatnot, but I just would encourage, I guess, to cross that bridge when we get there would be my 2 cents, but
Yes. And hopefully it won't be an issue.
agreed.
This is a maintenance issue. I mean, I couldn't imagine a city council member complaining us trying to fix something that's broken, so.
And I agree.
That's my
I
point.
don't foresee them saying no to this at all, but it'd be kind of interesting to test out the process
Yeah.
and see who.
Well, we've
Place-
had this process forever.
And
This
I don't think
isn't new.
I don't think there'll be anything going with the process. Meaning that I don't think anybody will come up with that 2/3 or anything like this on this roof.
Well, I know, but like, it's not a new process.
No, I know.
We've had this process forever.
And the upsetting thing is the fact that we're delaying something that needs to be fixed.
Exactly.
And that's the worst part. And before we had that discussion with the city council, we just would have moved forward with it. So,
I say move forward with it.
I do too.
we shall see. It's raining tonight, so if it rains hard tonight, we are going to fix it and move on.
Well, I think it's important to fix the problem to avoid any further damage to city property. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the goal here.
And I mean, it could end up being a safety thing too. I mean, the roof could fall and hit somebody at the center or whatever, so.
Just
A
from our
portion of
own
it.
clarification, how long have we been waiting on the city to approve? a
1
repair?
week, 1 week.
Okay,
For an answer,
for an answer.
1 week.
And
Well, it was
So
late
everybody,
last week.
look, I
Very
agree
soon.
with you in all this. I'd like to see the process work it out. I think we should go, if we want to go ahead and fix it. But let me tell you, this roof in this area has been leaking for years, years. We're not talking this just started. So we're talking about not going through the process. We need to get, its maintenance, we need to get it fixed. Well, we haven't for years. And I mean years, not
Right.
just a couple of days.
We've tried
So
to
let's
fix
just
it.
stop and think about that. Yeah, I get it's a safety issue, but we haven't been worried about the safety issue for years. So again, I think, I agree. If they come back and say no, I think we need to decide to just go ahead and fix it anyway. But I don't believe anybody will say no. And I don't mean it this way. It might be kind of fun to see the process roll it out for the first time and see how the city council reacts to this situation. I get it. It needs to be fixed. It really does. And Alex, if I can put one thing towards you, it needs to be fixed because it just,
Well,
am I
that's where
allowed
I
to
go
cuss in
back
these things?
to, I
No.
It
believe.
looks like crap when all those buckets are there. It just looks
But if
horrible.
this has been going on for years, why isn't this a budget item?
So that's what I guess I believe there is already something spelled out specifically for emergency. And while I understand, to your point, I've seen the buckets myself, but, doesn't mean just because we've had a leaky roof previously, doesn't mean that the current situation hasn't gotten to the point where it's now a problem that needs to be fixed immediately, right? From what I recall, and you're testing my memory here, there is very specifically stipulation for emergency, because I know that same thing exists for the city staff, right? They go above our budget on something, fixing it, and they do it, and then they come back and.
Ratify the motion.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty sure this is covered, but Kevin will hear back. We will get a solid foundation. Solid
Sounds
answer.
great.
And to be fair, we have repaired the roof. They just haven't worked. It's coming in somewhere else every time we'd fixed it. So we have made repairs and slowed it down and had it stopped at one time, and then it just keeps coming back, so.
Any other announcements? Hearing none, make a motion that we adjourn at 7:09.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.